So during a Q&A session for whatever show Molly Ringwald is on, somebody asked her if they're going to do a Breakfast Club remake. You know that movie back in the day, really good movie. Back in the 80s, it's a beloved classic that people really love. And Molly Ringwald comes out and says, no, they shouldn't remake it because it's too white, which doesn't make any sense because they've made plenty of movies and added all kind of crazy. They've changed the races of a lot of characters in remakes. So first of all, it doesn't even make any sense that she would say they shouldn't do it because it's too white. It's not like you're forced to use the same cast or use the same color of people when you make a remake. That just doesn't make any sense. So for her to say that, one, is pretty dumb, but it's like, does she even really care about, people who are underrepresented? She tries to claim like, oh, well, they don't talk enough about gender. And it's like, these LGB are overrepresented in movies, TV shows, everywhere you look. Every TV show, every movie has a LGB character almost now. That's the way it is. They're overrepresented compared to the percentage they are in the country. They play a way higher percentage on movies and TV and everywhere you look and everywhere you hear. Okay, so they're actually overrepresented. So she doesn't really care about people who are underrepresented. If she cared about people who are underrepresented, she would care about Native Americans. Native Americans are extremely underrepresented. Okay, Latinos, extremely underrepresented. Asians, extremely underrepresented. But does she say a word about any of those groups, the most underrepresented? No. So that proves to you right there that she doesn't really care about people being underrepresented. She's just pushing what she hears, her brainwashed and her propagandized mind believes. She probably heard some sob story, well, this person or this group is getting treated poorly and this is what happened. And they hear one little sob story, even though, all these other underrepresented groups have tons of sob stories. But the one she hears is for these groups because that's what's promoted all over the place. So in her mind, she gets brainwashed and she gets propagandized to believe that that's who she needs to fight for, even though they're overrepresented in movies and TV. So yeah, Molly Ringwald says they shouldn't do a remake of The Breakfast Club because it's too white. Imagine if she went to Mexico and she was like, there's too many Mexicans here. There's too many Mexicans on the TV. They would be like, well, get out if you don't like it. Leave. You don't have to be here. You can go somewhere else. Go to another country where there's a bunch of races on TV or whatever. Imagine her going to Africa and being like, there's too many black people here. There's too many. Get out. Get out. You don't have to be here. Like, it just, these people, they're so brainwashed or propagandized or they're forced to do these things because whatever, blackmail, whatever, what have you. So then they have to, come out and say it and try to push all of this nonsense that doesn't even make any sense. They're pushing things that are overrepresented. So it kind of tells you they don't really care about underrepresented. Okay. Who else are underrepresented? Poor people, okay? Like, does she really care about underrepresented? Why are there no poor people in your neighborhood? Why don't you hang out with any poor people, huh? Like, those are the most underrepresented. Those are the ones that are, kicked to the curb, not cared about, just neglected, okay? Poor people. Okay, if you really care, that's how you can prove that these people, they don't even really care. They don't care about people. All they care about is money. And when they're getting this money to promote this thing, that's what they're going to promote. Okay, so the way to really tell is say, well, how come you don't have any poor people in your neighborhood? How come you don't have friends that are poor people? There are plenty of poor people who are good people, hardworking, clean. I know there's a lot of poor people who, nobody wants to be around, but there's plenty of poor people who, are clean, are good people, honest, moral. So like I said, that proves to you right there, these people, they don't really care. They're just trying to push something because they're focusing on issues that aren't even the biggest issues. There are a lot bigger issues than, what they're trying to push. Anyway, let me know what you guys think about this. Molly Ringwald saying they shouldn't make a remake. I mean, I agree they shouldn't make a remake because because they're going to make it completely woke. That's what they're going to do if they ever make it. So I agree, but we have a difference of opinion. She thinks it's too white, and I think it's going to be too woke. But let me know what you guys think. Thanks for watching. Take care. See you next time.